Good afternoon, everyone. This is Prestige Health and Wellness, and we are doing a series on Black women and mental health. And we wanted to talk about a little bit of the different things that are challenging to Black women specifically in their mental health. And the first thing we're going to address is just Black women and mental health in general. And we all have heard about the strong woman narrative. And what does that mean? And how that impacts our mental health. And I first, before I begin, I want to introduce to you one of our wonderful team members. Her name is Shamika Gray. She's a wife, she's a mother before she is a family nurse practitioner and a psychiatric nurse practitioner. She loves God, she loves people, and she's passionate about mental health. So these are Casual Conversation Thursdays. We've been bringing these serious to you. And today we're going to talk about Black women and mental health. What is going on with the strong woman narrative? And why is that still plaguing our society as a Black woman?
Wow.
Shamika?
I think that definitely it's such a needed topic. Just me personally, talking about myself, and all the different things that I do, wife, mother, that sort of thing. I think for African American women or minority women in general, I think that it's a point that we don't want to seem weak, and I'll say that for
Mm,
myself, that's one of the things you're like, well, if I say I'm not okay, or if I
mhm,
say, today is just a bad day, other people are dependent on me. So how will that look? And I don't want to look like I'm weak. I don't
mhm,
want to look like I need somebody else, because sometimes as that independent woman, yeah, I'm a
mhm,
wife, but a newly wife. So, for the longest, it was just me. It was my kids. So when I started having anxiety symptoms, it was, okay, first of all, this is not happening. And then it was, secondly, I can't tell anybody else that I'm having these issues because, one, I'm a provider, so that's one of the things that happened for me. And then secondly, all these people depend on me. I got friends
mhm,
that call me and they tell me their issues. So
mhm.
how would I look telling them my issues? So I think that's one of the things that keeps African American women and minority women from seeking help, or even recognizing that these may be, signs that I maybe need to talk to somebody. So just my
No, no, and I'm glad you brought up the fact that we think we're weak because we always have to be strong, but we don't have to be strong. And a lot of people have that strong woman narrative because who else is here for me?
who
I
else.
don't
That's
have
right.
anyone to support me. So if I'm weak and I have my moment, then I can't be strong for everybody else.
Everybody else. Yeah.
But then what's happening? What's happening if we keep on with this narrative, if we keep pushing ourselves that way, and if we don't stop to recognize what's going on the inside, is that sooner than later,
Yeah.
it's going to explode.
It's going to explode, and then it's bad. It's on a level where sometimes it's difficult to retract it back quickly, and then you know what, something else that I forgot to mention, uh Dr. Luis, that sometimes it's things that may have happened in our past that makes us feel like we have to be strong. What if I
Yes.
leaned on somebody before and they cracked, or they
Mm-hmm.
weren't there, or I didn't
Mm-hmm.
get what I felt I needed?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times I think that too, a lot of our circumstances from past is also what keeps us from saying, hey, I'm at a point where maybe I need to reach out to somebody. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
absolutely.
and I agree with you. And the need part is that I don't have to have someone to, it's not always about having someone to lean on because a lot of us are independent, a lot of us are not married.
Yeah.
But it's able to reach to a therapist.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on that I need to go ahead and talk about.
Yeah.
When is it time for me, at this age, saying, you know what, it's time that I deal with the issues that I buried all these years. Because whether you think it's not impacting anyone, your daily interaction, whether it's your family members, whether it's at work, that same strong woman narrative presents itself no matter where we are. And I've had instances where I have circles, but I don't want to be a bother to them.
Mm,
So instead
that's
of
good.
calling them to ask for, hey, I need you to do this for me,
Yeah.
I will not. You know, when my daughter was going through cancer,
Yeah.
I expected people to know that I needed
I
you.
needed you. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
expected them to know I needed them. And my closest friends, I expected them to just show up.
Yeah.
But you're going through a difficult time where you're not even communicating. But sometimes
Yes.
when you're not communicating, it's okay to just come, and even if it's irritating me, at least I know you're there. But we don't know how to communicate that to to our circle.
Yeah.
And we don't know how to even reach out to our circle and say, you know what, sis, I had a bad day. I just need to talk to someone. And if you don't trust that person enough to not take what you say in private outside, well, first of all, they're not part of your inner circle.
That's right.
Second of all, it's okay to make an appointment. I mean, for God's sake, your employer gives you 6 free sessions.
Yes.
Use it.
Use it. That's right. Too, another thing that it could be, it's always that not me factor, or that's not for me.
Mhm,
That's
mhm.
for somebody else that has A, B, C, D, but it's not for me. And then we don't recognize, oh, that is me, or, let me go just try it. Another thing too is I've ran into people will have somebody that they've talked to and maybe it wasn't a match. So then it's
Mhm.
already difficult to get there. So then when I get there and I'm not jiving with this person, now I just give up altogether because it was already hard to say
Mhm.
I needed, and now that I'm here, it's like, okay, well, I'll just go back and retreat and do what I thought was working before, which of course it wasn't working. So,
Yeah, and when you say it's not me, and the first thing I thought of, it's all of us.
yeah,
So, and
absolutely.
it does, yeah, it's all of us. And it doesn't mean you have a mental illness.
Right.
What is happening is that you got to have someone to talk to
Right.
deal through the elements of what you're experiencing. That comes from a non-judgmental space that
Yeah.
can provide you with coping skills that you can implement. And then
Mm,
the other thing to that is that, you know what? Some of the issues you have presently have something to do with what you experienced back then that you never got over, that you never forget, forgiveness, all those things that you
yeah.
actually finally need to deal with. And then, when I always say therapy is like going on speed dating.
Speed dating. Let
Speed
me let me
dating.
hear that some more.
So therapy is like going on speed dating because it takes uh for people to be able to share with you, it takes a deeper level of connection. And
Mm,
when you first meet someone, that does not always happen. And
absolutely.
sometimes the person will stay with that person. And by the first conversation, you could say, you know what, that's not going to work for me,
Yeah,
right? I don't feel connected to that person. And it's okay to feel that feeling and know, okay, maybe I need to look for another one. But
absolutely.
many people don't try finding another one
Right.
because it may take the third time, sometime is a charm. It may
Yes.
take 3 times, but that requires your commitment, which
Mm,
requires you like, I'm not going to waste my time. No, keep trying.
yeah.
And then another element to it is finding someone that is culturally appropriate to understand me as the Black woman.
Now that's good. That's
Because
good. I think that that's pivotal. Absolutely.
and it's not about that I can't see, another provider of a different ethnicity, of a different color. But there's some things that me as a Black woman deals with
Yeah.
that everybody cannot connect with and understand.
Absolutely.
So that's why it's like speed dating.
Yeah.
You might have to go through a few to find the one that fits you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I do want to piggyback off of what you said earlier about like the circle of friends. And some people have friends, but they're not necessarily a circle of friends. So I'll use me. When I started working, I worked in the emergency department, right? So working there, I had people that I worked with, but it was surface conversation, because a lot of minorities, African American women, we don't trust very easily, and I'm
Mm-mm.
talking about me, we don't trust very easily. And it's like, I can talk to you, but I can't talk to you, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. So I think that that provider, that mental health counselor, that person, that they not only present that unbiased, but they're not going to tell. So there's not that, okay, they might go out and tell my business, and you don't have to worry about, say, the inner circle if that's one of your concerns. The goal is just get there, start there, and be committed to it. And you'll be surprised at the wondrous work that can be done and accomplished through that. Absolutely.
So I like what you say. Go there, get there, and just start there.
Just start there. Absolutely.
Okay, so just start there. And on that note, we're going to end Black Woman and Mental Health. It's a 4-part series on the Thursday conversation, casual conversation. So this is hosted by Prestige Health and Wellness, and we hope that this conversation has helped someone as we navigate through mental health in the Black community.